But we begin in the NFL in the AFC North with the Cincinnati Bengals dominant performance over the Cleveland Browns Sunday afternoon at Paycor Stadium. The Bengals beat the Browns 23-10. This was Joe Burrow's first career win against the Browns. For the Browns, Deshaun Watson, he went 26 of 42. He threw for 276 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. For the Bengals, Joe Burrow, he went 18 of 33. He threw for 239 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and Jamar Chase had 10 receptions, 119 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown. So my reaction to the Bengals beating the Cleveland Browns on Sunday afternoon was the Cincinnati Bengals are the hottest team in the NFL. Notice, I didn't say that the Cincinnati Bengals are the best team in the NFL. I said the Cincinnati Bengals are the hottest team in the NFL right now, and they are currently on a 5-game winning streak. And the 5-game winning streak began in Week 9, a 42-21 home win against the Carolina Panthers. And Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals have not looked back ever since. And these wins that the Bengals have had during this 5-game winning streak, 3 of those 5 wins came without their star receiver in Jamar Chase. And I got to give some credit to Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow has elevated himself to being in that NFL MVP conversation. For the season, Joe Burrow got 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 3,685 passing yards. He's completing 68% of his passes. Joe Burrow has been nothing short of sensational. And this is Joe Burrow this season in the 4th quarter of 1-score games. His QBR is 85. That's ranked first in the NFL. He got 7 touchdowns. That's ranked first in the NFL. His yards per dropback is 7.8. That's ranked second in the NFL. Joe Burrow has been scorching hot for the Cincinnati Bengals football team, and he has elevated himself to being a top 3 NFL MVP candidate at this current moment. I'm going to discuss my NFL MVP race a little bit later on in the show, but it is undeniable how great Joe Burrow has been playing during this Bengals 5-game winning streak. And again, this came without the services of Jamar Chase in 3 of those 5 games during the winning streak. And honestly, when I look at Joe Burrow and I look at the head coach that he has in Zach Taylor is not to be confused with Andy Reid. Zach Taylor is not to be confused with the Sean McDermott. Those are the head coaches that Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have the luxury of playing for. And Zach Taylor is not an elite head coach in the NFL. Despite his team going to the Super Bowl last year, I don't look at Zach Taylor as being an elite head coach. I believe Zach Taylor has benefited from being the head coach of a very, very talented Bengals football team. You look at this Bengals offense. At quarterback, they got Joe Burrow, one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. You got Jamar Chase, a star receiver who is young and on the come up. You got T. Higgins, who, if he was on other teams in the NFL, not named the Cincinnati Bengals, T. Higgins would be a number 1 receiver. They got Tyler Boyd. You got Joe Mixon and Pirine in the backfield, a 1-2 punch at the running back position. Okay? Defensively, you got Logan Wilson. Up front, you got DJ Reader, Trey Henderson, Sam Hubbard. And your back end, you got Jesse Bates. You got Von Bell. This Bengals football team is loaded top to bottom. So I don't believe when you talk about Joe Burrow's success as a quarterback, I'm not saying that Zach Taylor doesn't know his football. He's probably forgotten more football than I will ever know. But I don't believe that Joe Burrow is playing for an elite coach the same way Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are. So I love the way Joe Burrow is playing. And you look at this Bengals offense during this 5-game winning streak. The Bengals have outscored their opponents 30-20. They are averaging 408 yards per game compared to their opponents who are averaging 323 yards per game. And Burrow has 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The Bengals opponents have 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So this Bengals team is playing at a very, very high level right now, and they're playing some sensational football. And even on the defensive side of the ball, defensive coordinator Lou Admiral, we got to give him some credit because defensively right now, the Bengals are playing at a high level. They held this elite Browns rushing attack that features Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb to only 71 rushing yards Sunday afternoon. We know the Browns' strength is running the football, and that Bengals defensive line did a sensational job against that Browns offensive line. Trey Henderson, Sam Hubbard, DJ Reader, BJ Hill, they were sensational against the Browns offensive line Sunday afternoon at Paycor Stadium. Holding the Browns to only 71 rushing yards, that's a sensational performance by that Bengals defense. So I love the way this Bengals team is playing right now. They're playing balanced football. Offensively, we know they can put up points, but defensively, they're doing an outstanding job as well. Held the Browns to 4 of 15 on third downs in this matchup. And Deshaun Watson didn't look very good. He didn't look very good. We got to give some credit to that Bengals defense. And, you know, you look at the Bengals secondary. In their secondary, they got Eli Apple. I'm not a believer in Eli Apple, but he's been playing pretty well in the absence of Azawuki. That's their cornerback that they lost for the season. Eli Apple has done a pretty good job. They got Cam Taylor-Britt at the other cornerback position. You got Jesse Bates and Von Bell as your safeties. So I think this Bengals team is in prime position to go on a run as we get closer to the playoffs. The same way last year during the regular season, the Bengals peaked towards the end of the season. We're seeing the Bengals trend in that same direction. And you look at the Bengals remaining 4 games. They're at Tampa Bay in week 15. The way the Bucs have been playing, that should be a win for the Bengals. I would favor the Bengals over the Buccaneers, the way that they've been playing recently and the way the Bucs have looked. Even though it's Tom Brady, we know how great Tom Brady is. The Bengals have a more complete football team than the Bucs do. Week 16, the Bengals are a way more superior team than the Patriots are. Week 17, this is a key matchup for the Bengals. At Paycor Stadium, January 2nd, Monday Night Football. Going to be a great game between Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. I'm looking forward to that game, and that's the game that I have circled. If the Bengals can win that game, Bengals could possibly have the road to the Super Bowl come through the Queen City. Week 18, they got the Ravens. We don't know how healthy Lamar Jackson is going to be, but I expect Lamar Jackson to be back at that point in the season. But Bengals are definitely trending in the right direction, and they're trending towards not only winning the AFC North, but being the number 1 seed in the AFC.